Time is of the essence. I wanted to make sure I made this video before the game started, so we're here on a Saturday afternoon, living the dream. Yes, there's been some dropping news that I didn't see till after I already set this all up in the thumbnail and what have you. Not that I would have made that the thumbnail, or do I want that to be the main topic of this episode? Never really wanted to focus on it, but we'll get into a little bit of that. I'll just give my final thoughts on Chandler Jones. And then the question still lingers. Who is starting for the Las Vegas Raiders at quarterback Sunday afternoon in SoFi? All that and more. We're here. We're live. About to do this. Welcome to an impromptu live of Night of the Shield right here on the Las Vegas Raiders News Review, brought to you by Independently Blind Studios, where I educate, advocate, motivate, and inspire other people who are going through sight loss, as well as any type of loss. It could be, you can have any type of disability. I want to inspire you to live your dreams and do whatever it is you need to do to find your independence and live your best life. All right, if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, and the like button. Let's go ahead and get this thing ripping. I guess we could let the music play out too, though, right? Little ahead of myself. Not that I feel overly rushed. But right back in the house is Raiders Combo. What's up, Knight? What's up, Combo? We're just over 24 hours away. Less than 24 hours away, excuse me, from kickoff. It's going to be an interesting one, to say the least. All right, let's go ahead and do this. I want to start off by giving a big shout out to the Just Win Baby podcast for having me on last night. That was a lot of fun. You know, we got to talk some football. We had a Chargers fan there, a content creator, very knowledgeable content creator who brought some great insight on the Chargers and what to expect. So I really appreciated that opportunity, and I thought it was a great show. P-Dog006 in the house. For sure, he was a Raider. Once a Raider, always a Raider. Fact. And again, I want to reiterate this and how this kind of hits home for me, because we're going to touch base on the Chandler Jones things real quick so we can move forward and focus on the game. However, it's coming from my perspective on a man who has a disability, a progressive disability, meaning my condition gets worse and worse, meaning my eyes will constantly get worse and worse. And I've been dealing with it for majority of my life. Okay. Along with that comes a lot of days of hardship mentally, right? I have my days where I'm not the most positive, most excited person to be around sometimes. And oftentimes I recognize that, and I'll come out here to the studio or separate myself from people just so I don't put bad vibes on them. But I do have my days where I struggle. Now, I say that to say I understand what it's like to a certain degree. I'm obviously not at the level of what this man is dealing with, but people have problems. It doesn't matter if you make $20 an hour or if you make a few million a year. We're all human. We all have to face these types of things in our life. And unfortunately for him, it came at a time where he should be on this football team, regardless of how you feel about his performance or what he was able to do last year or what you expected from him this year. It does affect us regardless, because he set the edge really well regardless. And there was a lot of high hopes that he would come in, he lost a little bit of weight, that he would play faster, and he would do all these things. But the reality is he's totally lost it mentally. And now he's officially released off the Raiders. It's no longer an issue for us, with the exception of we want him to continue to get better. So my final thoughts on Chandler Jones, and I thought P-Dog said it well, once a Raider, always a Raider. Think what you want of him. You don't have to like him. You don't have to support him. You don't have to want him to succeed moving forward. But I will say this, prayers for the man. I hope he gets it together mentally, physically, and maybe he could end his career on a better note than what he has right now. With that said, I don't really need to focus. This is not a Chandler Jones video. I mean, if you guys have questions, of course, I'll answer them. But as far as me making my statement, I think I've done that. I'm good. All right. The Raider critiques in the house. What's up, family? What's up, dog? Appreciate you being here, brother. All right. Moved back in to the studio myself. Sweet, brother. Way to go. Studios are fun. I knew I missed one. P-Dog. Jimmy should start if okayed by medical staff. And that's the consensus out there, to be honest with you. But I have a caveat to that. The kid should play if Jimmy G is out. And that has become the standard consensus. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper into that, all right? Screw the Bolts, P-Dog. For sure, brother, for sure. Oh, my goodness. Chargers fan? Question mark? Not me. By all means, no. Let's see. The Raider critique. I just hope he gets better. Me too, critique. I mean, it's, no, I don't wish that on anybody. I don't even wish that on my worst enemy, dude. It's not a healthy place to be in that kind of state of mind. But playing off what P-Dog said, because this is what the core is it for me, right? We're going to be touching about a lot of stuff in the next hour as we try to wrap up this week as we get ready to face the Chargers. But who starts at quarterback, right? If Jimmy G can go, I mean, as of right now, there's nothing been put out there that he is off protocol, the concussion protocol. So if he doesn't get off protocol, he just don't play. But they could take him off at any time. So it could be this evening, this afternoon, tomorrow morning, and all of a sudden we find out that Jimmy G's starting. He did practice a little bit, limited, red shirt. They always wear the red shirt anyway. Who cares? So he has had some practice as far as what the game plan is going to be, and they have him prepared if he's ready to go. And the consensus is if Jimmy's good to go, play him. And, it being the fourth week, I will stand by what I said at the beginning of the season. The longer that we could hold on to O'Connell, give him every opportunity to learn, to grow, the better it's going to be for O'Connell, and the better it will be for us, especially if O'Connell really can put it together and make an impact on this football team. But I will also say at some point we got to see him, and this could be an opportunity just to test the waters. We don't have to put precedent on it, right? You just never know what you're going to get. He had all the intangibles. He has the footwork, the release, his pose in the pocket. From what he was giving, because we talked a little bit about this last night, that, yeah, they didn't throw the whole offense at O'Connell in preseason, but the fact that he was able to pick up on what he did do and play at that level, he's quick. He's smart. He's quick. They ran something similar like that at Purdue, a pro-style offense anyway. There's less of a learning curve technically for O'Connell than a guy like Jimmy G, who played in another system for 4 or 5 years, and he's unlearning to learn. So, and that's obviously confusing Jimmy. Now, let's go ahead and kick it back to Jimmy real quick before I get out of hand on O'Connell. Jimmy G, with his experience, especially reading defenses and knowing the speed of the game, you have to understand that does give us a high chance to win or perform at a better level. But there's some things that I've seen that concern me. And one is his ability to not only understand the offense fully, but it's slowing him down. Like when only 2 receivers are getting the ball, he's only at least going to his first or second read, which is his number 1 and number 2 wide receiver. And there was this big debate on nobody's. And I was actually working. I had to work out hard this morning, boys. So I listened to the whole Autumn Windbag podcast. I don't know if you guys listen to the Autumn Windbags. They're pretty cool dudes. But they were getting into their big debate about Hunter Renfrow and whether or not they're drawing plays up. And from my understanding, they do. But for whatever reason, whatever coverage they're showing, because I've been telling you, they a lot of teams have been showing a coverage and then bouncing out of it. Jimmy's just not pulling the trigger. That's not on McDaniels. So that narrative has to change, right? It's Jimmy changing, or Jimmy calling the play pre-snap, looking at his reads and not giving it time to develop. And the ball is designed to come out quick. So that is a part of the equation we have to understand. But for me, this becomes the Josh McDaniels game. The Josh McDaniels game. You're the head coach. If Jimmy G goes out there and you see him continuing to struggle to go through his progressions and not get everybody the ball across the board, He's not getting his tight ends involved. He's not getting Hunter involved. He's throwing ducks. It looks like he doesn't have the velocity on the football. I really think that you have to make a change. Now, at that point, if O'Connell's not on the roster again, he's inactive, he's the third choice, there's not much we could say about that, right? But if he's in concussion protocol, it's an opportunity for you to play the kid. And the same thing can apply. If O'Connell does not look ready and doesn't look like he can handle the load, then put in Hoyer, whatever. At some point, you have to coach to win, McDaniels, not coach to lose, like the whole field goal call, right? At some point, you have to be able to make the tough calls. It doesn't matter who gets paid what. If you're not performing, you're not performing. If you're having a bad day, don't be afraid to pull the trigger. Put someone in that possibly can get the job done. I saw the chat kind of going crazy a little bit, so I want to make sure I don't get too far behind and get back to some of these. So we got what's up now. We had P-Dog. Okay, we said what's up to Critique. I want to make sure I didn't miss any here. We're getting to it, guys. We're getting to it. All right. I'm going to start here. Hopefully I didn't miss too much. The Raider Critique says, we won't really know. We won't really know until he goes against first string superstars, 100%. So we don't know. So we know what we don't know, right? Critique. And this is just an opportunity. If Jimmy can't go, it's just an opportunity, right? Your main guy is out. We'll have to have the conversation here in a minute, whether or not McDaniels just, grabs a sack and just says, deal with it, guys. I'm playing Hoyer, deal with it. And we'll have to have that conversation here in a second. But this is an opportunity that I think we shouldn't pass up. At some point, you got to test the kid. You have to know what you're dealing with here. P-Dog. No like Charger fans. I don't care for them either. Most of them anyway are actually real. Wait. So no, it says no like. So no Charger. Maybe that's what I mean. No Charger fan are actually real. Put them right up there with Santa, with Santa and the Tooth Fairy. It's funny because I always wonder what makes a Charger fan. I get geographic location, but they've had some great players. They've had some historic players. Junior Seahal, the Damian Thompson, Darren Sproles, Breeze, Rivers. All these guys have been fantastic. Dan Fouts goes way back, but they've never won nothing. I find that really hard. Richard Lyon, what's up, brother? Appreciate you, man. Night salute, brother. Salute right back at you, dude. Critique salute from Richard Lyon. The Raider Critique is saying what's up to Richard Lyon. And then we go down. Really wish we still had Mariota. Yes and no. He just wouldn't fit the system, to be honest with you, P-Dog. Like, at some point, we need to make sure that we have the right player in place, right? And we can talk all day about Josh McDaniels not wanting to change his coat, his color, the way that he plays the game and calls the game. He did it with Cam Newton. He did all right, but then he went right back and got someone that he could work with in Mac Jones, and he did well. This is just what he knows, right? And sometimes you're just going to coach what you know. It's your best opportunity. At some point, we have to make that decision to move forward, right? The Raider Critique. Are we really... Here we go. Oh, and we really need to know. And we definitely really need to know. Now, here's the only caveat to that, right? Critique. If McDaniel keeps coaching and making decisions the way that he has been, maybe it doesn't matter because a new coach will come in here with a new idea and a new game plan. And I don't, if we get someone young, fresh, willing to try new things, I don't know how much O'Connell plays into that. He's not your prototypical type quarterback that you see in this era of football, right? You want someone that could be a little bit more mobile, move around the pocket better, take off running and be dynamic. He's not that. You're not going to get that from him. But what McDaniels does and the way that this offense is designed, the kid has all the tools to fit what he does. We just need to know that he truly can do it at a high level. And like you said, against superstars, starters, not people, third, fourth string. He handled that well though, right? So put him against the superstars, but give him superstars to throw to and see what happens. That's what we need to see. So let's go ahead and have that other conversation real quick I was talking about. What if McDaniels, like I said, tries, to flex his power, flex his muscles, and he says, I'm starting Hoyer. Jimmy G's out. I'm going to rest him. I'm starting Hoyer. O'Connell's the backup. That's a tough one for us to swallow. I don't think I've heard anybody seriously say that would be the right move. Now, again, we don't get paid $10 million a year to make those types of decisions, right? We're going off what we saw in preseason. We don't know what's going on at practice. I know he has a vote of confidence from a lot of guys on the team that how he works hard and he develops, and I'm sure they've seen him throw the ball. Then again, do you really expect people like Devontae Adams and all these guys to come out here and be like, nah, Connell's just a rookie. I don't give a shit about that guy. Don't play him. I don't see that being the conversation. I don't see that being the narrative, regardless. So, I mean, just for the record, right? But at the same time, I mean, Hoyer has not been able to be a successful starter in his career at all. He's become a career backup, but he does know the system. Now, let's think about this. I have to find the positive inside a negative, right? He throws the ball probably worse than Jimmy or maybe as good as Jimmy, right? His arm is not as strong as it once was. But let's face it, he does know this offense. And when you know the offense, so that's what we saw with Stiddy last year when Stiddy took over. For me, outside of age, and he was still young and he was kind of mobile outside the pocket, because he knew the system, I believe that he was able to play a lot faster than even Carr was, right? Because Carr was struggling on, dealing with McDaniels and the way that McDaniels was calling the game. Stiddy wasn't. Stiddy understood it. He went out and he executed whatever McDaniels put in there. I think you get that from Hoyer. I think that's the one thing that you at least get is a guy that comes in and understands the complete offense, implement whatever you want. He's been second string to this for several years now. He should be able to get to the line of scrimmage, process it quickly, read the defense, and then now it's about getting the ball, which that's where my problem is with Hoyer at this point, because we saw it in preseason. He can't. He just doesn't have the velocity. He kept throwing pick. He did not look great in preseason, and that was against backups, regardless who he was playing with. P-Dog, really wish we still had Mariota. Okay, I already read that one. And I already read that one from Critique. Rafi, I think it's Rafa. What's up, Rafa? I think this is Rafa. Raphael Cheech, I think it is. Salute, nation. Salute, brother. P-Dog. Let's see. Partying hard. Party hard. Partying hardy. Yo, laugh out loud. Watching college football. Yeah, you know what, dude? I wish I had time to watch more college football. I honestly just don't. I just don't have it in my repertoire right now. If when it comes to college, I'm more of a sports center kind of guy, highlight kind of guy. I'll have to specifically look things up. Lafayette, it's been a minute. What's up, Lafayette? Appreciate you being here. AOC, but if we lose this game badly, definitely AOC this week, or just throw him. Yeah, so again, that's the consensus for me, right? You could always start O'Connell, and if he really looks that bad, you never know. The spark might, I don't know, man. His release, his poise in the pocket, I'm intrigued. The only thing that I guess that would be scary would be how much of the offense is he limited against, right? How much of it can he really process? He's a really smart guy. He's played pro-style offenses before. Like, he should be able to adapt, in my opinion. And then obviously, as we move off of the quarterbacks for a little bit here, because we have a bigger problem than quarterback, in my opinion, right? Because like I said, even if they go Hoyer, which none of us want, but if they do, that this guy is going to come in with the full offense intact. They can put out a full game plan. He can't throw it like O'Connell can, and maybe he throws the same as Jimmy, maybe worse. I don't know. We'll have to wait and play that one out, right? But we need to run the football regardless. And it doesn't matter even when we start Jimmy. We got to get this running game going because that will help Jimmy as well, right? And the Chargers can be ran against if done right. And we were talking to, I believe his name was Coach. He was a Charger fan last night, and he was even saying with Derwin James being out, both safeties are out. So even if they load up 8 in the box, they're not coming with their starters. So let them load 8 in the box. This is the other reason why I want O'Connell, because O'Connell can get the ball down the field, and that could open up the running game. But it all starts with the running game. It always has. This offense in general is designed to play off the running game. So play action is huge in a McDaniels offense. I don't care who is our starter. And we haven't shown that we've been able to do it. Now, I know everybody's talking about Jacobs having a slow start last year, and this is around where he usually starts to pick it up. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want that to be the conversation no more. The guy's getting paid $12 million versus what did he get paid last year? 8? You know, 5, 6, 8, whatever. We didn't pick up his 5th-year option, right? And you're going to pay me like a hero, then I'm, or pay me like a hero if I'm going to be the hero. $12 million to me is right where he's at. And why are we paying you $12 million if you have to, we have to give up 4 games? We have to give up 4 games, so you're only going to give us 13 weeks a year? That value is right where it should be. $12 million. Now you got to go earn that $12 million starting now. If that's the narrative, no more, hey, I got to get my body ready. Now's the time. So Josh Jacobs has to step up and take care of his end of the running game. But that's not going to fix our offensive line. So that has to be done too. So if you're seeing, because a lot of people are saying Van Rotten's the problem. Well, if that's the problem, then replace him immediately. I don't care if you slide Illuminor over and bring in Munford or flip-flop, whatever. At some point, this is what I'm talking when it comes to McDaniels. This is where my focus has really changed. I told you guys at the beginning of the year, I was on the fence. I'm not going to say get rid of McDaniels. I'm not going to say keep McDaniels. He had to come. I wanted to see what he came out with year 2. And it's not looking any better than it did year 1. His title is head coach, which means he's in charge of everything. Pat Graham, the offense, the defense, special teams. He's the big cheese. You're the head coach. Your job is to coach. And this is what coaches do. You see a problem, you fix it. If someone's playing bad, you bench them. And I get you have this reputation coming from Denver and all the stuff that you did, that you're not a player coach and you're kind of this hard ass and everybody kind of don't like you. Well, you can't be Mr. Nice Guy either. You can't just overlook those things to try to save face for how people view you as a head coach in the National Football League. Because that's the other way that you lose your job too, right? Not showing confidence in your offense when you're an offensive coordinator, that's not on them, dude. That's on you. And there's one thing that I definitely want to keep standing by when it comes to McDaniels, and that is he's an offensive mind. So, again, people want to say it's play. It's not play calling. It's not play calling. It's not. I think Devontae alluded to that. It's not play calling. If it was play calling, we wouldn't still have the offensive numbers, even with Jimmy G struggling in the turnovers. We wouldn't have the offensive numbers we do have if it was play calling. It's execution. It's not the run play he's calling. It's the execution of the run play. A run play is all about execution. If you don't block and there's not a lane or you're not hitting the lane, that's execution. Can we run the ball more to the outside? Yeah, but I've seen that too, and I've seen Jacobs get caught from behind or tripped up before he can make the corner. It's execution. So at this point, Mr. McDaniels, Mr. Offensive Guru, find the missing link and replace them, period. What's the weak link? Pull them, replace them, put someone in there. Even if they're not the starter, maybe you find something there that you're lacking and you get actually something going. Win at all costs, because that's the next part of this that I want to talk about. This is not necessarily a must-win game for the Raiders. But if I was to sit here and say that I expect to lose and it doesn't matter, I'd be lying too. Every game counts. But let's think about this. When I did my first quarter predictions, I had us losing this game. There is a small window of opportunity for us to steal one this week. We talked about it since I came back, right? You're going to lose games you're supposed to win and win games you were supposed to lose. We lost one I felt we should have won last week. Let's try to win one I think we should lose this week. And it starts with coaching. And here's why, to me, it might not be a make or break thing for this season, but it really puts you in a good situation, right? It'll put you at 500 first quarter, which I think is great, because I expect the Raiders to try to fight each quarter to be 500, to be where my bottom line is for this football team. I like to see them overachieve, but they have to be 500 in each quarter, in my opinion, to kind of be where I think they should be moving into year 3 with McDaniels. But if they could pull it off this week, not only does it put us at 500 at the first quarter, we're 2 division wins in it. And that is huge. That is huge, because if we continue to find ways to win and correct some of these big holes that we have, which is a tall task at this point, but if we could fix a lot of these woes that we have, especially on offensive side of the ball, there's a small window of opportunity at the end of the season that we can sneak into a wild card. Doesn't mean anything. I promise you, this team is not a Super Bowl winning team, especially when you look around the league and look at the competition. But that don't matter. You're looking for mass improvement. You're looking to see that this regime is on the right track to make the changes necessary to make us contenders next year. The stakes raise each moment, right? Oh, Nick 209's in the house. What's up, brother? Like I said before, doesn't matter what play is called, players on the O-line have to win run fits. 100% right, Nick. Both sides of the ball, both offensively and defensively, the trenches are so huge. Anybody that's been watching football long enough understands when you heard everybody say it starts in the trenches. The defense, over the years, the defensive trenches have become more talked about more than not, right? Pass rush, defensive ends, linebackers becoming hybrid type linebackers with the tight end changes. It's different today than it was back in the day, in my opinion. But I don't think, O-line's always talked about, but I don't think there's enough emphasis put on the O-line that I think it should be. Not that you need to spend your budget there completely, right? But playing in the trenches is it's a mentality, bro. That's gladiator style football, man. Every single snap, you're getting your hands on somebody, and it's man against mano y mano, man. You got to power your way and beat that other guy. You got to be faster, stronger, and you got to take your will. You got to present your will either side of the ball. And we're struggling with that on both sides, by the way. Outside Max Crosby, who's having to do it to 2 or 3 different people to snap, right? The whole offensive game plan is targeted at that guy. That's a big target to carry around you, right? Like it's not almost fair. Speaking of the defensive side of things, let's cover that really quick. From a defensive perspective, it's the same as it's been even last week with me. I see what this I see what our defense is at this point in time. My expectations for this defense is a lot like it was last year, a lot like it was last week. I thought last week they played to their strengths, the defensive strengths, right? They made plays when they had to make plays. Yes, there was the drop interception by Peters. That continues to happen. But they're playing that bend, don't break. They're doing what they're asked to do. They made stops when they needed some crucial stops. We had opportunities last week. The offense just didn't capitalize on it. So we need the same this week because Herbert hasn't thrown a pick. And what I'm afraid of is the way that we've been playing defense is we're going to give Herbert all these short windows to get the ball in the players' hands, and that's going to set us up for disaster. We're going to have to play a little bit more aggressive, I feel like, this week, but we need turnovers. We need to find a way to get some extra opportunities on offense, especially if we can find some way to get Jacobs going and this passing attack going. Because when this passing, we've seen it. We've already seen it, and it's usually when it's scripted and early. It kind of came to life a little bit at the end of last week's game. But we know that this offense is capable of moving the football. So all the defense needs to do is get us some crucial stops and try to give us the opportunity to create separation. That's what this team is. It's not great. It can be good, but these are the things that have to happen. Nick 209, Raiders need to draft players they can start and develop to be contenders for the future. It's all about the draft. And I was thinking about this last night, right? This top three: Tyree Wilson, Michael Mayer, and Byron Young. All starters, kind of, right? They're all playing. They're getting playing time. Let's just say that. Not one of them have made a real impact. Yeah, matter of fact, we can make the argument that they've hurt the team more than they've helped the team. That's not good. One of those guys at least should have stepped up and be making plays at this point, right? And I think every one of them have an opportunity. So now, the big conversation out there right now, well, Tyree Wilson is a project. Don't want to hear that, man. Not with your first round pick. It happens, right? It is what we can't change it. It is what it is, right? Okay? He's a project. As much as that angers me, it is what it is. Okay, well, and I get it. Chandler Jones, bringing it back to Chandler real quick. He was the guy, the prototypical type that they wanted to work with Tyree to make that happen. And he's gone. But that's not the end of the world, though. But did that slow his progression down along with the injury? Of course it did. But Chandler Jones is not the reason why this kid's not playing well, right? It's he's not developed right. He didn't have the time. He was hurt. He was a project to begin with. That in itself was the issue for me. And it still is. He's got to find a way to make an impact. Now, Kuntz, on the other hand, a lot of people are talking about Kuntz, but here's my problem with our defensive front, especially when it comes to that side of the ball or the defensive end, right? Opposite Max Crosby. Yes, Kuntz is showing great improvement. He shows great hustle. I really like Malcolm Kuntz. But let's be real. Malcolm Kuntz is standing out to us because nobody else is. It's not like Kuntz is completely dominating. Yes, I know he leads us in pressures. Well, he should. Max is getting double, triple team on the other side. Kuntz has got to find a way to turn a lot of those pressures into sacks. Kuntz has to step up because he is the answer. That's all we got right now. He's got to find a way to be the answer on defense and try to create some type of fumble, some sacks, and really make a bigger impact in the game because they're all over Max. I'm looking for a big game from Tillery too. And for me, it's all about the defensive line this week. It really is. I think our linebackers have played pretty consistent. I think if our defensive line could play better, those linebackers could play even faster and make more plays. I'm actually impressed with our linebackers, if I must say so. The corners have been average. They haven't been horrible, but I think they could play better. But again, defensive line work will help that out too. All that plays hand in hand. Nick 209. Kuntz was never drafted to be a starter. Fact, he was always a rotational piece. Can't expect too much from him. Well, I want to say that too, Nick. I want to say we can't, but we're in a position where we have no choice but to expect it, and he has no choice but to take it on. This is an opportunity for him. For me, the sports is all about mentality, right? You got to have the right mentality to say, if you're accepting the fact that you're a rotational piece, a pass rusher, spotty pass rusher here and there, you're the water boy, so to speak. You're going to come in and give the starter a break. Well, now this is your opportunity to make your claim, to prove everybody wrong. That's the mentality you have to have. Like, look, Max's attitude. That's Max's biggest strength is the way that Max approaches the game. As good as Max is, Max knows he's good. But even though he knows how good he is or could be, he has the same approach that I'm not good enough and I'm going to prove everybody wrong and I got to get better and better each and every week, each and every year. Doesn't take 365 days a year. This is this man's mentality. Sports is a mentality. Jordan had it. Kobe had it. Brady had it. The best of the best make it a lifestyle. Jerry Rice had it. Like the people that we know that really changed the game as professionals, both on and off the field, they all have their issues. None of us are perfect. But they live that life 365 days a year. They had extra trainers. They had certain workout and training programs in the off season that they used to get where they're at. They never stopped. Never stopped. They wanted to be the best. A lot of these players in the NFL They might have dreams and aspirations of being the best, but they never put in the work to be the best. A lot of them don't. A lot of them are happy just to get that payday. I got to work hard to get that big paycheck. And a lot of them just continue. They're good. They're great players. They're great assets on a football team. But some of the greatest, not just Hall of Famers, but some of the guys that really stand out are guys that literally want to be at the top of the leaderboard at the end of their career. Those are the special players. Those are the types of players we need more of, my opinion. Nick 209, Facts Night. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I try. I try. But a lot of the times we get infatuated with just what we see. I remember even a guy like Khalil Mack, who we're going to be facing this week, right? Khalil Mack was good, but I don't even consider Khalil Mack great. Khalil Mack's no Von Miller. He started off with the opportunity to be like Von Miller. And because he was one of the most impactful players that we've ever drafted onto this football team, we loved him for it. And I'm not saying he doesn't work hard. I'm not trying to say that. Someone's trying to call me. Let me see, make sure it's not important. Yeah, I'm good. But what I'm trying to figure out is when Mac left to Chicago, why did everything just slow down? As Raider fans, because we've been looking for, we draft so horribly, we fall in love with the first guy that can get a sack or put a string of games together that's really good, and we don't really know what great is anymore. We don't know what great is anymore. And then we find a player, and because we draft horribly, we can't get complementary players to make it right. I mean, for the first time in a very long time, we have a number 1 wide receiver and a number 2 wide receiver. And it shows in their numbers. That's great. But we're still lacking in quarterback play, and now we're not producing a running game. It dilutes what they're doing. If you got your number 1 wide receiver last week, right, going off for 172 yards, and his number 2, the second man on the totem pole, catches for 85 yards, and we only get 2 touchdowns. Why? Complementary football. Devontae Adams is not going to go off every week for 200 plus yards receiving, and Jacoby's not going to come bring up the back end and get half that or more and win us football games every single week. It takes all 11 players to work in unison to put something together that is special. Now, if you get these other guys to complementary play what we're doing on the outside, starting with the quarterback, because the quarterback's the problem there, by the way, not getting it to the tight ends, not getting it to Hunter in the slot. I don't care who you are. We put Tucker in there. Tucker still ain't getting the ball either. It's not a Hunter Renfrow thing. It's not everybody's anti-Hunter at this point. So, at some point, you got to have the right players and complementary players that are going to make it across the board good. Same thing with defense. Max Crosby on the defensive line. No one else stepping up like all pros. Max can't do it himself. They'll just push everything his side, which is what they're doing. Nick 209. Mac was a better 3-4 outside linebacker than a pure pass rusher with hand in the ground. Well, again, Nick, I do agree to that, but again, do both. That's coaching to me, right? Not understanding your players and what their strengths are and be able to mix it up, not only for the player to get better in all areas of his game, but utilizing his strengths while confusing the offense and using them in different ways to go out there and make more plays. So, this is where we haven't had the right coaches either. We've had some good coaches that are strong in certain areas. Again, McDaniels is a great offensive coordinator. He's not putting complementary pieces around him either, right? Patrick Graham hasn't stepped up. He hasn't really. He's created a really soft defense. It's like we're still have Gunther on the field. Like it's crazy. It almost looks the same, right? Gruden, same thing. Robert Pena, nice salute. What's up, Robert? At some point, everything has to come together, and it does start with coaching. Having coaches that can recognize what they have, what's the best way to utilize them, And with a guy like McDaniels, even and all the crap that we want to give McDaniels right now, we could take it back one and do the same thing to Gruden. Gruden was a guy who didn't want to get out of his own way either. He wasn't innovative. Himself did not want to make the right changes to make something new and fresh. He places his way. It's worked. He doesn't want to change it. Michael Guerrero, salute night. Salute to you, brother. Great show. Go Raiders. Thank you, Michael Guerrero. I appreciate you, bro. I'm getting ready to wrap it up. It's Saturday. I literally had to work out 3 hours this morning, man. I'm actually feeling a little bit. I need to go put some more nutrition in my body. We'll be talking a little bit more of that. I've shared with you guys what I'm doing. I leave in November to go to Florida and do a kayak/biking across Florida, the Florida Keys. So I'm trying to get in shape so I don't fall apart out there. All right, so let's try to get to a point where we can wrap this up. Let me see where we're at.
Workout. 2:25 p.m. and 50 seconds.
2:25. So it's been almost 45 minutes. So let's break this down. Let's take a look at this real quick because we've been talking a lot about this all week. I don't know if there's that much more we could add to the picture at this point. I mean, we are just where we're at. Public Enemy number 1. What's up, brother? So here we go. What are we looking at realistically, logically, when we look at what the Raiders have done the last 3 weeks compared to the Chargers? Right? We're both 1-2, but the Chargers have scored more points and been in more games at the end than we do. And I like our odds in a close game because the Chargers, for some reason, cannot close a game out. Their weakness is their defense. So we're evenly matched in that way. So this could become an offensive showdown. And right now, this is where I picked the Chargers to win this game. It's because they have the edge of consistency on offense. They're scoring more points. They're not turning the ball over. And this is why I think if we're going to come and step up and win this game, we have to be really efficient on offense. Now, I do say that we bounce back regardless of who we play at quarterback. I think that they understand the position that we're in, not necessarily from a win-loss record, but from how they're viewed across the league, especially offensively. This offense should come out fired up and ready to ball. They really should. And with that said, I don't see there being any reason we can't go put 21 on somebody, regardless who starts at quarterback. That's what I want. Chargers, on the other hand, they do that on a regular basis. So I had them winning. I have them winning this week, 21-24. But I do believe and this is why I don't want to come out and say the Raiders win and just play off this whole if factor. But the Raiders can win, but they have to perform offensively. They have to keep up with the Chargers. They have to. Eckler's out. Williams is out. This is an opportunity. We could still win here. It is not out of the norm that we can do this. So please don't take, I have to be realistic about it. I'm not going to come out here and say we're going to win 17 weeks in a row. Just ain't going to do it. We have to perform offensively. That's what I'm looking for the most. Win, lose, tie, it doesn't matter to me this week. I want to see this offense wake up, starting with Josh Jacobs. Public Enemy number 1. I seriously have not been impressed, and I'm just hoping we win by some miracle. Exactly. I mean, I'm glad that you can see it from a realistic light, because I know there's going to be a lot of people that may come in after later, and if they watch this video or not, and they're going to be like, I can't believe you said the Chargers are going to win. Hey, look, I think it could get out of hand if we don't perform offensively. This could be a lot uglier than I'm saying it's going to be, right? But I have to be real about it. I'm only got us losing by 3. It could get a lot worse. I'm just being honest. I can't come out here and confidently say that we're going to change it around until they actually show me that they can. It's been 3 weeks. It's been dismal. There has not been a gleam of hope at all. And it's sad to sit here and say that the first chance of hope that we got is that maybe Jimmy G can't go and we could see the rookie. We could see something fresh, new, and exciting, someone that has a more live. That's the thing. When you look at our quarterbacks, you got two older guys towards the end of their career and then one guy just starting his career. And right now, I need to see a live arm. And O'Connell has the live arm, period. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. Anyways, that's what I got. Someone just chimed in. Let me jump down in here real quick. Michael Guerrero, salute. Robert Pena, salute. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. This is it. I should be back on. I think I have my schedule clear for tomorrow. So after the game, I'll probably come on here and either cheering like a madman or holding myself back from cursing. There's really no pass rush. It doesn't help defensive backs sustain their zones. Nope, at all. Not at all. Not at all. But they got to play quicker on the outside. They got to start reading the quarterback better. I think they react a little too slow too. I don't know what's causing that either, but we got to stop letting these guys get these easy 2 or 3 yard catches. We got to start putting some pressure. But anyway, big shout out to all you. Hey, it's just win baby around here. There's still hope. And this is not a downer video. I think we could pull this off, but it's time for McDaniels and this offense to show us some life, or it's going to be a long afternoon. So I'm hoping I eat crow on myself tomorrow, and we're back here talking about a Raider victory. I believe in it. I believe it could happen. I totally believe it can happen. Peace out, Night. Peace out, Nick. I will be at the game. Nick, enjoy yourself. Go find some other people in the Raider Nation. Hang out. Have a good time. I know there's going to be a lot of people out there, so go find them, and we'll be back here tomorrow after the game. I really appreciate everybody. You know how we do it around here. Big shout out to Nick209. Big shout out to Michael Guerrero. Big shout out to Robert Pena, my boy. Thank you for always being here and supporting. Richard Lyon, thank you. Nick, always. Raider Critique was in the house. Much love to Raider Critique. Lafayette, appreciate you, brother. P-Dog, always good to see you around, brother. Rafi, nice to see you in here, bud. Who else was up in the house today? Richard Lyon was here today. Richard Lyon, appreciate you, brother. Thank you. You guys, this couldn't happen without you, so I just want to let you guys know how much I appreciate you guys for being here. Impromptu on a Saturday. Raider Combo, you already know, bro. Thank you for always being here and all your support. All right. This is going to be wrapping it up for this week. We had a great week. I had fun. Love hanging out with you guys. Ray Gonzalez, salute. Salute to you, my brother. Thank you as always. Raider Nation, rise. Let's take out the Chargers. Let's put some sunshine in those clouds. No lightning. Just pain. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Night out.